The following page is an example of the course quizzes and tools macro that we can implement into Confluence. As you may see, this is the e-learning space page. What we can do is we can categorize our courses into each individual category. For an example, we have GMA, Uber Eats, and Kiosk. And then we can go through and select each individual one, and then it will show all the courses for that particular component. And then anything that hasn't been added with a component will go uncategorized. Now, as an example, we're going to go through the closed loop redemption. What would usually happen is users will select enroll. Once enrolled, once we have a look at the reporting, which is here, we can see who has enrolled into the course. Now, as my user is traced there, what I will do now is I will select enroll. Once I have enrolled, on the reporting page, we can now see that the user has enrolled into the course. Once we enter the course, we can start the course, but we cannot access any of the material until we have started the course. Once we have started the course, all the material is still locked and you have to go through in sequential order. It allows us to reduce the amount of information chucked at the user, and then we can put all the sophisticated information towards the end, and then we can put all the introductory information at the start. As we go through, we can mark as completed and go on to the next. And then each will be tracked on the reporting scheme for the course, and it will show the user progress until they reach 100%. Now, I will go through all the course's materials, and then I'll show you the final page, which is the quiz, as an example. So once the user has read through all the material, and take in mind all the material for this course is specific for the ending, which is the quiz, because you need to understand what you're reading throughout all this material, because when the quiz comes, it will actually utilize the information that we have said in the learning material. So now, what will happen is, and this is all automatic, we have a quiz, and then it goes the amount of questions and how many questions you have to pass, and then it goes start quiz. Users go through a quiz, and it can be any amount of questions, 1 to 5, and then CLR for at-mayor markets, and then you can answer all the questions. So here, CLR for at-mayor markets uses the same mechanism to communicate with ECP Office Server, and then we already know, or I already know this answer, is yes. And then we just continue on. Now, if we go back to this page here and we refresh, as you can see here, it will show all the progress. Now, what happens if a user has done the quiz? We want to know how much they've got. So we can go show details for each individual user. So this user, which is mine, is still doing the quiz. They haven't completed, so they've done 20%. Now, down here, the user Rodrigo Lima has participated in the quiz. You can view their answers if you want. They completed it. The overall result was failed, and they got 60% out of 100. Same for Tony. And then this is the simple report for the quiz. Because if you go view answers, you can see what questions they got wrong. Oh, sorry, wrong user. You can see what questions they got wrong. And then they can also view it as well. Now, this is the actual quiz page. We can edit the questions, we can remove the questions, and we can add questions at will. We can also specify the conditions, and there are various conditions. So what we can do is we can do pass target, so it doesn't have to be 100 out of 100. It can just be 90 out of 100. It depends, all up to the user who creates the quiz. And then we can give a time limit if necessary, and we can specify the amount of attempts if we want to limit it. I've set it as unlimited. We can have due dates, and then we can results after pass, so we can just make it so when the user goes through the quiz and at the end they see the overall results. In the example that I was doing when I was participating in the quiz, it will show that I got the answer right or wrong. You can skip questions if you want. You can resubmit answers. You can select all these questions here, and then down here we will have the actual results for all the users. We can see how many attempts they've had. We can see the overall status that they're doing. So if they've restarted a quiz, we can see if they've started it. The result, so if they failed or passed, we can see here. And you can see the overall score of the highest. You can see the date started, and then the total time spent for each quiz. And then if there's a due date, which is not. And then here we can see shared by. Now this is another thing that we should highlight. Now for each course, if we go to the settings, we can make it showing global catalog, which is, it will show on the home page, which is here. This is a global catalog. So all these courses here are made global. Anyone can view them. And then if they're not made global, no one can view them. So if they're not made global, what we can do, and this is for anything that has been internal, so we don't want to share it to everyone, we just want to have it as an internal course and give it to specific people only. What we can do is after we create a course, we can go enroll participants and we can enroll specific people only. Otherwise, we will select self-enrollment and that will allow anyone to view. We can put it into a category. So say I don't want it in GMA. I can go here and then I can select whichever one I want. And I can switch the categories and that will show on here. And then after that, we can go here and then we can add all our learning materials. So we can create pages or quizzes. And then we can also create sections for each individual one. So if we have a very large training course, we can go week 1, week 2, week 3. And then after that, if we go to our user profile, there's actually under courses, we can see which user has taken which course. So if you want to have an overall view of the user on Confluence and which courses they have participated in, you can just go to the user profile and then look under courses and you can see the amount of courses and then what percentage they have completed for each course. That is essentially all there is for this macro. There is a lot more in relation to configuring, but that will be in a further video if required. Thank you for listening.